Hi guys, so we're going to continue our lesson for this week, and today we're going to be exploring quadratic functions. Okay, this can be a little tricky, so I really need you guys to pay attention. Okay, a quadratic function in standard form is written as y equals ax squared plus bx plus c, where a does not equal 0, and that's because a, b, and c are numbers, okay? A and b are coefficients because they're numbers in front of a letter. C is a constant because it's just a number by itself, okay? When it comes to the graph of a quadratic function, remember we learned that it was a U-shaped curve that either opened up or down. It was called a parabola, and it looked something like this, okay? For axis of symmetry, that is just a line that is dividing the parabola basically in half. It's a line that goes straight down the middle. So when we write it, it's going to be the x-coordinate of our vertex, which we'll learn about soon, okay? Or we're given this formula, and we're going to plug the numbers from up here, okay? So we take our b and plug it in for here, divide it by 2 times a, whatever our a is. We're going to see examples of that soon. Okay, to know whether a parabola opens up or down, we have to look at the value of a. If a is a positive number, right? If it's greater than 0, it's going to open upward. If it's negative, or if it's less than 0, okay, it's going to open downward. Our vertex, okay, is x comma y, which is either the highest or lowest point on a parabola. So if it's the highest point on a parabola, that's called our maximum, and if it's the lowest point, it is called our minimum. Let's jump right into some of these questions, okay? One more thing, actually. Minimum and maximum value. So we talked about this, right? A parabola like this was a minimum value. Well, the maximum value, remember, is that. So when they ask for a minimum or maximum value, all we have to know is whether it opens up or opens down, and you just take the y-coordinate of your vertex right here. Okay? So if it was 1, 2, and that was my minimum value is my y-coordinate, which would have been just 2. Okay? Let's do these questions together. Okay, I have these written out. Don't freak. You can start copying this down onto your together questions. Let's see. Okay? So, we have y equals x squared plus 3. And I'm having some technical difficulties. There we go. Okay. Y equals x squared plus 3. So our a is the number in front of the x squared, which there's nothing there, but that represents a 1. Okay, we're missing a b, so b is going to be 0. Okay, and c is 3. Okay, we just need to know that. That should be our first step. Second step, we have to find our y-intercept. We're going to plug 0 into our equation. So we have 0 in for where x was. So we have y equals 0 squared plus 3. Well, 0 squared is 0, so we have y equals 0 plus 3. 0 plus 3 is 3, so y equals 3, so that is our y-intercept. We move on to the axis of symmetry, and that's why we needed the letters. Our b was 0. So we plug in negative 0 over 2 times a, which was 1, so 2 times 1, which becomes 0 over 2. 0 divided by 2 is 0, so our axis of symmetry is x equals 0. When it comes to the vertex, you're going to plug in whatever value this is, okay? You're going to plug it back in to the equation. So I get y equals 0 squared plus 3, or y equals 0 plus 3, so y is 3. My y-coordinate is 3, so I take my x-coordinate and my y-coordinate to make my vertex, which is 0, 3. Okay? Don't just assume that whatever my y-intercept is, that's going to be my vertex y2. That's not the case all the time, just in this case. Okay? To know the maximum or minimum value, you're going to look at a. A is 1. It's greater than 0, so we have it facing upward. It's opening upward, so we have a minimum at y equals 3. Okay? Because remember, our minimum and maximum value, you look at the y-coordinate. So our y-coordinate was 3, so at y equals 3, we have a minimum value. Okay, so make sure you say minimum at y equals 3. Okay, let's move on to the next one. We have y equals 2x squared plus 4x minus 6. Same steps. A equals 2, b equals 4, c equals 6. Okay, Y-intercept, I plug 0 in. It's always plug 0 in for y-intercept, okay? 2 times 0 squared. 0 squared is 0. Okay, so we have 2 times 0, which is 0. 4 times 0, I had to plug 0 in for x. So 4 times 0 is, and then we have negative 6. So 4 times 0 is 0, and then bring the negative 6 down. So then we have 0 plus 0 equals negative 6, so y equals negative 6. Axis of symmetry, we plug in our numbers. Our b was 4. So we plug in negative 4 because it's negative b. Okay, 2 times a, which was 2, so 2 times 2. So I have negative 4 over 4, which is negative 1. Okay, I'm going to plug this value back into my equation. Okay, so I get 2 times negative 1 squared plus 4 times negative 1 minus 6. Negative 1 squared, negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. And we bring down to negative 6. So then we're left with 2 minus 4 minus 6. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Negative 2 minus 6 is negative 8. So our y-coordinate is negative 8. So I take my x, my y, and I make my vertex. Negative 1, comma, negative 8. I find out if it's a maximum or a minimum by looking at A. It's positive. It's a 2. It's greater than 0, so I have a minimum again. Okay? And you're just going to take your y-coordinate from above and put it down here. Okay? Last one. And then you guys are going to do these questions on your own. Okay? Number 3. Y equals negative x squared minus 4x plus 5. A is negative 1 because of this negative in front of the x. B is negative 4. I have a minus 4 here, so my B is actually already negative, okay? C is 5. So y-intercept, we plug 0 in, so negative 0 squared minus 4 times 0 plus 5. We simplify that to 0, minus 0 plus 5, and we get positive 5. So y equals 5 is our y-intercept. Our axis of symmetry, I use my formula. X equals negative b over 2a. Okay, I plug in b was negative 4. I plug in negative times negative 4 because it's negative b. And b was already negative, so a negative and a negative make a positive. Okay, 2 times negative 1 because negative 1 was our a, and it's 2 times a. So this simplifies to negative 4. Negative times negative 4 is a positive 4. 2 times negative 1 is a negative 2. 4 divided by a negative 2 is a negative 2. So our x-coordinate and our axis of symmetry is negative 2. Our vertex, over here, x comma y. I plug in this value into my equation from above. So I have negative x squared, right? And x is going to be negative 2. So I have a negative 2 squared minus 4 times negative 2 plus 5. Negative 2 squared. I have to do that first. So negative 2 times negative 2 is a positive 4. But then I have to multiply it to this negative, so it's a negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 2 is a positive 8, and bring the 5 down. Negative 4 plus 8 is 4. 4 plus 5 is 9. So my vertex, I take my x, I take my y, and I get my vertex at negative 2, comma 9. Maximum minimum value, tongue twister there, A, right, is equal to negative 1, which is less than 0, which means that I have a parabola facing downward, opening downward. It's going to be a maximum, and I just take, wow, I wrote the vertex, that's wrong. Ignore that. So you're going to take your y value, which is 9. So y equals 9. Okay? Just like that. So you guys are going to do the on your own problems now. Okay? Just take it step by step. If you have any questions, email me. Don't get frustrated. Don't stress yourself out. Watch the video as many times as you need. And remember, if you have a question, email me. I will answer. As long as it's between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Okay? Bye, guys.